Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, first rule of stupid people. Stupid people do not know they are stupid. And stupidity has nothing to do with education or intuiting or intellect. Stupid is about the lack of a want of knowing. And that's the first rule to remember. Stupidness is a certain self-unawareness that shines in the dimness of minds like a finishing ember. And that's a big problem for the rest of the world in which we all live, especially for those of us who have to deal with the stupid. Stupid people will never admit they are stupid because they don't know any better, and they have no interest in knowing any better. Because the stupid already know everything. They know more about war than generals. They know more about bankruptcies than bankers. They know more about national security than those who defend our borders. So how do we, the rest of us, deal with these stupid people who may very well be highly educated, but emotionally corrupt or morally barren in their want not to know anything new? We can try to offer them education surreptitiously, and we do that surreptitiously because they will rebel against changing the who and what they are. What they believe is what they know, and what they know is who they believe they are. The first order of protection of stupid people is maintaining the status quo of what they know. And so, we listen to them. And then, we ask questions. We aren't questioning them. We are just asking questions. We listen because we are required to do so. And in listening, we come to know. We come to realize what motivates that particular stupid person. And we learn where their loyalties and fealties bubble, like toxins in a tar pit. We may not like that we learn when we listen, but that sort of information collecting, our own form of data scraping and trends analysis, is all helpful in allowing us to design defenses and responses to similarly minded other sorts of stupid people in that vein. Next, we need to ask questions to get more answers. Stupid people tend to love to talk about themselves because they believe the sun revolves around them. And without them, the world would stop spinning and we would be plunged into an eternal darkness. By asking questions, we can begin to shape thinking. If we ask the right question in context, we may begin to find a keystone belief that can be tested against reality and not imagination. It is not easy moving a stupid someone from fantasy to truth, but we must try, and we must continue to work for understanding and reason to win the day, even if it takes a lifetime of effort in pushing someone up and down a hill all day. After we have listened and questioned and learned, the time for asking is upon us. We are no longer seeking insight or tracking intention and belief and thought. No. Now we are asking the stupid person for action. We are requesting a movement of the soul. Now keep in mind, no is easy, and yes is hard. And those stupid people we ask may not yet be ready or able to say yes to our asking for change. And this is where patience is required. The strong are saying nothing until they see. And so we are all required to wait and watch. We aren't just hoping or keeping a blind faith. We know what needs to be done and achieved together. We have listened and questioned and asked, and now we wait for the results. If we get a no, then we start again and get to the point again where we must again ask for a yes. And we will continue that circle, that process, that Mobius strip of perseverance until the cycle is broken. And the yes opens the mind into spirit. Recently, on Twitter, a living example of this first rule of stupid people spun around the definition of the word karma. Here's the brief explanation of what happened, as shared in my weekly Mechanized Morality newsletter. One thing that annoys me is the misuse of the word karma, as it is intended in its non-colloquial use. Karma is something paid back in the next life, not this life. You have to believe in reincarnation to even use the word karma. But of course, this is America, where people who don't know the real definitions of words think anything goes, as long as they redefine the word in their head as they wish. Unfortunately, for those who know the real definition of the word karma, their argument comes off as moot before even being argued, and to correct their misunderstanding is to be accused of lecturing. You may sign up for my Mechanized Morality newsletter by going to mechanizedmorality.com. So here's the longer human meme podcast explanation of the karma moment. This fellow replied to a tweet I had sent to correct me on my definition of the word karma. I then replied to him and provided some links to the dictionary definition of the word karma. The second or third dictionary definition were identifications of the wrong, colloquial use of the word. And that is the job of a good dictionary, to identify the proper historic definition of a word and to sometimes also share the corrupted if colloquial, even if incorrect, definition of words as they are commonly used. Now, I agree, words change and meaning may be differently rendered over time. However, the first definition of a word is always the best and the right definition, because it encapsulates both intention and history. And that distinction with a difference is especially important with an esoteric word like karma, where stupid people have taken the word and shaped it to fit their narrow, sun-centering definition that has no value as a true, universal definition. Yes, karma is something easily misunderstood, but that doesn't mean the definition of the word should change just because people use the word in the wrong context. The fellow I was speaking with about this was not buying any of my argument. His mind was made. I asked him if he was a millennial. He immediately replied he was 40 years old. And then he instantly deleted that reply. The world and all words were his. Definitions be damned, because how he chose to use and employ words were his choice. And in my talking to him about it, and remember, he replied to me, I didn't go out to find him. And in my talking to him about it, that somehow made me the bad guy for lecturing him on the meaning of a word he was misusing. And so here we are, in a mad world where everyone goes their own way and writes their own dictionaries. No wonder we don't get along or understand each other. We have lost our common way, and we have forsaken our shared definitions. It is really important, vitally important, that what we identify as an apple means the same thing in English and in every other language in the world. Because if not, then the object loses its curing, its curation, and its meaning begins to meander from apple into pear and then persimmon. Can you imagine with me the tremendous danger to the sanity and the safety of the world if we begin to disagree about the definition of what an apple is, let alone the definition and meaning and intention of the words right and wrong and war and peace and karma? There's a difference between getting retribution for what you've done in this life or in the next life, and the shared meaning of that intention is what binds us as human people. And that meaning also condemns us. And that meaning sets us free to do due diligence in the world spinning around us, as we circle the sun, and not the other way around. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.